All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 2 o'clock. We'll go ahead and get this meeting underway here. Do we have enough for a quorum? I guess we do. Yeah. Oh, there he is. Clayton, good to see you. Doing all right? Good. Okay. So I hereby call this meeting to order of the Village of Ruidoso Workforce Housing Advisory Board. And we will go ahead and start out with the certification of compliance with resolution number 2022-01.
Chairman, I do certify this has been posted in compliance with the Opens Meeting Act.
Okay, perfect. And then I apologize, I missed our roll call, so
I'll go ahead
and do that.
Since we have one virtually. Member Alred?
Present. Clayton? Are you here, Clayton? Oh, he froze.
No, it's not me.
This is interesting. There he is. Can you hear us, Clayton? Can you hear us?
No, it's muted.
Oh, it's muted. We're muted. Oh.
The video's not on either. See it down there?
Well.
No wonder you can't see it. Turn the camera at the bottom left corner.
There he is. Can you hear us now?
Stephanie?
There he is.
Signify by saying aye.
Okay. Are you here?
Will you just stay?
So we're just doing roll call. Clayton, if you can say present.
Present.
Okay. Member Meeks? Member Russ?
Here.
Member Thomas?
Present.
Member Douds?
Here.
Thank you. You do have a quorum, Chairman.
Wonderful. Okay, we've done the
And
certification.
for the record, we'll just verify that our Chairman Oberhue is absent, as well as Member Keenan.
Okay. Wonderful. Does everybody have a copy of the agenda before them? And if so, can I get a motion to approve said agenda?
So moved.
A second? Second. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Perfect. Okay, the agenda is approved. And if you can just go and revert to the minutes from our last meeting of November 16th, 2022. We'll be looking for a motion to approve said minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we do have a motion.
Second?
And a second. We have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay, meeting minutes are approved. And now for our financial report.
I'm sorry, I should have omitted that item. There is no financial report to provide to you all
Okay,
today.
financial report omitted. I like this meeting so far. Number 6, new business. So we're going to start out with the update and discussion on the extremely slow progression. I'm sorry, that's not slow, just progression on 1014 Meacham Drive, Meacham Meadows development.
Thank you. Members of the committee, I'd like to invite up Leonard. He's our project manager for 1114 Meacham, and he's got all of the details of this development for you.
All right.
Good afternoon, members of the council. I appreciate you inviting me to give you all the update on the Meacham properties. So at this point, the 14, well, let me not give a number. The homes from Max for the Kirsten homes have all been inspected. They have all been inspected to the point to where we had a conversation in the village yesterday regarding titling for those homes. And Max did let me know that his office will be contacting us before the end of business tomorrow regarding final walkthroughs and inspections for those homes. So they are just about done. So for the other outliers, which do belong to Miguel from AAA, he was a little bit behind the 8 ball there just because he is from Texas and not New Mexico, and he was not versed in New Mexico requirements. So there were a few outliers for him. Vapor barriers, he wasn't aware that he had to have them under his homes. Once the inspector did let him know that, or inform him that he was supposed to have them per code for the area, he did go ahead and satisfy that request. So he had 2 outliers, which were the last 2 homes to be set for the project for the 1114 sites. He did subsequently get those homes set, get the vapor barriers installed not only on those 2 homes but for all of the other homes that he did install. He has installed skirting on his homes now. and they are in the process of installing the AC units for those homes as we speak. So with that being said, those two homes will get footings for the decks. There's power to the site. All the homes do have water. So we are working on pretty much project completion as far as the homes are concerned. I am hoping here within the next couple of weeks, we will be in contact with Berkshire Hathaway to let them know that they should start their processes as far as moving people into the subdivision. The mayor has identified a few other things that he'd like to happen on that, on this project site, i.e. landscaping, and a few other things that we are working on internally. I did speak with Zeke from White Sands Construction. They are waiting on some millings to go ahead and get the roads done. As you know, we live in Ruidoso and it is the wintertime. That site is very unique as it's on the side of a hill and it's in the forest. So, a muddy mess. Yellow iron doesn't move when, that site gets saturated. So while it has progressed fairly slowly, in the larger scale of things or in the broader overview, they've actually done a really good job with all of the moisture and the snow and the rain that we've got. So with that being said, I had one outlier with the AAA homes, and we are working on getting that rectified with our electrician now, as well as the mayor did task me with getting electricity for the sign for the entryway, as the residents will enter in the site off of Meacham. So there actually is a lot going on besides that, as I try to, remember it all. Secondary stairs, not decking, but stairs. Some of those homes have two doors on the same side. So we really do want to make sure that the homes present their best face. Those decks look really great, but we wanted to make sure that we had a safe and aesthetically pleasing feature for that second door. So we are also in the process of that as well. So again, we are wrapping this deal up here pretty soon. I will get keys and packets for all of the majority of the homes from Max from Kirsten next week when we do that final walkthrough. And then for Miguel for AAA, as the skirting is put on the home and the installers are doing the footings for the decks, and we are, finishing finite details. He's got one more home for us that needs to be delivered, and we are currently working on that and returning comments as far as that plan site is concerned. So I apologize if I rambled a bit, but if you all have any questions, I'll stand for any questions that you have.
There's a lot going on coming together, so that's very exciting. It's been a project in the work for quite some time, so
Every
your
day, yes, sir.
efforts are very much appreciated and exciting. So would you say realistically, like 30, 60 days, 90?
Probably not even 30, right?
Really? That close? Okay.
Getting
So
it
we're
done.
like
We got-
right at the
yeah,
good.
We got a span of good weather. We have the trail and where that walking trail butts into the Lynx Trail. So I've been out there walking and making sure that debris and things are cleaned up in that area. Making sure that job site gets cleaned up. I actually did pass by a little bit earlier, see that they're actually cleaning up on Dollar General as well. So we are getting final inspections, wrapping up finite details again. Yesterday afternoon, the state inspector was there and inspected all of Max from Kirsten's homes. So all the inspections and everything are done with his completely. So we're just kind of making sure that we help Miguel, as he is from out of state, make sure that he meets all his requirements and he doesn't get left behind or is an outlier, and we can move people in as soon as possible. So it has gone really well, all the way down to the mailbox pad and the mailboxes. All light poles and things are installed. And so while there was a lull there for a little bit because of the weather again, I have to say hats off, right, to those folks who were out there in that muddy mess working to just try to make sure that we get this deal done as soon as possible. So I'd say realistically, I'll hopefully be making that call within the next 2.5 to 3 weeks to Berkshire Hathaway to say, we have keys, you guys can proceed.
So we can possibly see first residents going in May 1st? around
I'm
there?
hoping May. My birthday's on the 5th, and I'm hoping I can give myself
There you
a
go.
birthday present and happy.
Ah, yeah.
For sure, so.
Will those roads be done before people move in then?
Yes, ma'am, they're adjusting the roads now. It's a little bit hard as they put that base course down and then it rains on that base course and then we have people driving on it and it's kind of a no win-win situation. So now that we've got some good weather where they're gonna go ahead and put some base course down, they will put a tack oil on that base course that will kind of seal it and repel water so that way we don't have those continuing issues. But again, just kind of dealing with construction at this
Right.
point in the weather. So,
Bigger trucks.
yeah, we've got yellow iron there, it doesn't move and the equipment, they can move it and back it up and move it forward, but if they're causing ruts or tearing the road up, then it's counterproductive. So,
Right.
but again, we've got really good weather and wind. The wind is kind of been a help for us because that wind kind of dries the ground out a little bit and makes it, easier for those guys to actually work and get in those homes. And even a testament to Kirsten Homes and their crews, right? These are brand new homes, so they've got to get to a job site that's muddy and then figure out how to get in that home and work on that home without getting that home dirty and wrecked. So,
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
it's been a lot and again, I'm pretty excited here to wrap this one up for the house. So,
Heck, yeah. So I can stop giving Zeke a hard time.
oh, no, don't do that.
Okay, I'm not planning on it. Keep pushing him. Well, that's good. Any other questions, council? Okay, well, thank you so much for the update. We do appreciate, all y'all's efforts and getting that through, so.
Absolutely, and Samantha can give any of the board my contact, and if you all have any questions at any time, I have an open door policy, so if you see something, or if you have any questions, if you're walking or playing golf and you see something, you can call me and I can answer them to the best of my abilities.
Great.
Great,
Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
You want to stay there? He's the next one as well.
Oh, come on down. We just thought you were gone. Okay, so moving right along, looks like we have a update and discussion on 99 Sunny Slope Drive development.
So we've received the plan sets from White Sands Construction, and excuse me for not printing, and it's kind of small here, but you guys will take a quick look at that. Zeke has returned some comments on that, and I did see him here before I got in for lunch, and he had a few good points as far as mailboxes and things are concerned. Samantha just talked to me about.
Leonard, we should probably back up. I'm not sure if you all were aware, we had one home after adjusting the lot layout at 1114 Meacham that did not fit, and so it'll be placed at 99 Sunny Slope.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are we talking
It's a part of the project, so
No, it's good.
I apologize for not.
Okay, so we have one left over, or didn't work out on the site, and that's great.
That's a lot we owned already, the village. Awesome,
What
perfect.
was the total acreage on the?
It's a little small corner lot, triangle lot.
So we have 16 there at 1114 Meacham, and then the 17th is at Sunny Slope, is that right?
Yes, ma'am. So,
That's cool.
it is.
Better than letting it sit.
Yeah, it was good that we had a place to actually put it and we didn't have to park it. And the way they reworked the site, it really worked out great. And they were able to
Sweet.
get really nice with taking that one house out, so.
So when do you guys estimate that one being online, towards the latter part of the summer, or just?
No, we'll return the comments from Zeke that we got today, and before the end of business Friday, we'll tell Zeke, hey, we're okay, we're good to go, and then we'll get people moving on it, and then sometime next week, we'll talk to Mr. Miguel and have him deliver that home.
Oh, great.
Once the site is complete, concrete cure time for foundations and things like that, and then we'll have it delivered, and so he can get working on having it done. That's his outlier in his last one, so he won't get paid completely until he's got that one.
Oh, so he's motivated.
You better be.
Yeah, right? Where is the home right now? It's there at the
Actually,
convention?
it's in his hand, it's in his hands, and the way that process works is he will deliver the home to the site. Once that home is delivered to the site, we go by and check just to make sure that there's no catastrophic damage to the home. Once it was delivered, they'll kind of temporarily set it on its bases and foundations, and then I inspect that home. So then I show up on site, make sure that all VIN numbers and things match. The paperwork that we do have is the home that did actually land on site and that things are good, and then they continue their work. And then after final inspection, then I sign off, and then I give my signature to the executive office, and then they pay him for that, so.
Wonderful. That's great. Any other questions?
This one that'll be placed there is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath.
A 3-bedroom, 2-bath? Is that going to be a double wide or so single
It's
wide?
a single wide. It
Single wide.
is the exact model of what's been placed already at 1114.
Sierra Blanca View, we better charge higher rent.
Let's get part access.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm assuming you're also providing the update on the 1104 Meacham Or did we kind of already hit that? Oh, no, this is the Mesa Apartments 9% tax credit, so that must be a
That'll me.
different deal.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I guess are you guys all set were any more questions regarding previous two site developments? Okay, Leonard, thank you very much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you. To provide you all an update for 1104 Meacham Drive, I was very optimistic when I created the agenda that we would have an answer from MFA, but we have not received our preliminary letter. But we are very hopeful that we'll be awarded funding for this 9% tax credit application. I touched base with Mesa Apartments before the meeting, and they're hoping by the end of next week to have an answer. And so, of course, if we do hear, we'll reach out and let everyone know. But at this time, I don't have the decision just yet.
Is there other competition like they always tell us? Is it? We're just in
Absolutely.
a great position that we probably will get it.
They said that the second time you apply, it makes your application more
numbers.
favorable. Yeah,
Good,
so we're
okay.
hoping.
So if we don't get awarded that tax credit, I'm assuming that would not be something we would be actively wanting to move on immediately or as a council? Yeah, I didn't think so.
It would just make the project not very feasible because
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
of construction
sure.
cost and
Okay.
so. We're very hopeful though, so
Yeah.
let's keep our fingers crossed.
So we got a few points. They didn't ever update their pointing system.
They did change some items
change that?
around and so it was more favorable for us in a rural setting, so we'll see.
Was it really? Okay, because I know there was an issue with the Midtown credits or scoring.
That still
Us
gives you quite a
losing.
bit of
Yeah.
scoring, being in that metropolitan redevelopment area and in the Main Street district. That really does add up, but unfortunately, we lose those as we're up on Meacham.
Yeah. Okay, any further discussion regarding the tax credit? No? Okay. So moving right along, discussion on the possible action on the Workforce Housing Spring Fair.
Enclosed in your packet is our Opens Meeting Act. Since there was not a meeting in January, I'm bringing it before you all. What it states is it will comply with the Opens Meeting Act set by the state of New Mexico for full transparency and open government. And so the full resolution is in your packet, but if I could get a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
I will second that motion. Okay, hearing
I'll
no
do a roll
objections.
call just since it is actionable. Member Allred?
Yes.
Member Meeks?
Yes.
Member Russ?
Yes.
Member Thomas?
Yes.
And Member Dowds?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. I appreciate that. We'll get that posted to our website. The last thing on here is the Community Development Department update. We have with us Scott Williamson with C+ Teams, and he would like to give a presentation on the type of housing his company could potentially provide to the village of Ruidoso and just demonstrate his product.
Yep.
Scott, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We'll pass the mic over to you. We're excited to hear this.
I'm hoping you have a presentation. I sent over a brief slide deck of 3 or 4 houses and alternative solutions to what you've already seen. We have basically a SIP, structurally insulated housing package, and then another package that uses pre-manufactured walls that are fire resistant, insulated, and give a better solution along that line. Did y'all get yep, you got it. Okay. I'm looking at it on my phone. I'm traveling. Thank you for any background noise. I apologize and ask for forgiveness early. But in essence, what we've done is come in and build a workforce housing program that puts in slab-based houses that they're not preformed from the standpoint. They're 4x8 walls that we stand up and design and have a fire retardant solution on the outside and on the inside, with insulation in the middle that allow us to be able to have a much more resilient home from that standpoint. And we can design it anywhere from 1,050 square feet up. And it makes it very economical to come in and build out, and very cost efficient, and it's got very good efficiency ratings on the product. So that's what we do from that standpoint, and tailor around working with communities to get workforce housing, not necessarily what is referred to as affordable housing. We look at it as workforce housing, in that we're giving you the tools and technology to have a slab-built house that's affordable for the community. So the next slide shows a duplex version of that we can build that allows us to be able to use this technology from the standpoint of being able to have a very, very reliable solution that's cost effective to be able to do that. That goes anywhere from 900 to 1,100 square foot per side, anywhere from a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom house that's built on a slab, insulated, doors, everything you need to have from a normal house. Because technically, the only thing we're doing is being able to kit these and come up and build those and provide them on site, and do a slab built house on site like that. So the next slide represents just another version of that. That is a single family with a garage, so we can configure these things a number of different ways for the slab or for the community or the environment in which we're building these things. We can accommodate a number of different styles, from Southwestern style for the outside, for stucco, any number of things that can go on this and still maintain its fire resistance from that standpoint. And these can go up to 1,500 square foot, but the target that we're looking at is somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 square feet, based on what we've seen so far. The next slide represents the modular piece. Those are actually walls that come in a shipping container that we deliver. Once they're on site, we lay that out across the slab and build the house. What you see on the bottom right-hand side is the walls going up. That's an exterior wall that we would cut the windows in to be able to put the windows and doors or whatever we needed to do for that slab, how it's designed. So this is very efficient to be able to build out from that standpoint. The next slide represents the testing that we've done on houses for burn ratings and thermal ratings. That the bottom left side there represents where we've run. This is on one of our houses that we went in and put a forced space heater, a propane space heater, 14 inches from the wall, ran it for 5 hours. It never got to degraded state, and it never caught on fire. And we walked all the way through, and then on the outside, it dissipates that heat. So this is a different siding than using a hardy board or using wood or anything like that, which I think is something that needs to be really investigated, especially in the areas that you guys are in with the forest fires and things that you already are dealing with. If we can build a more resilient house in the community that can help withstand the forest fires the best they can, we'll never have the perfect house unless it's completely out of concrete, which is cost prohibitive. But this gets us much, much closer to being able to survive a catastrophic event like you've seen in the past. So these things are the things that we bring to the table to put together. I'll take a break and answer any questions anyone might have. And again, I really appreciate the opportunity to present this.
Well, Scott, thank you very much for your presentation on that. And just a couple of quick questions, I guess, from my side on these pre-constructed units. I mean, I'm sure it's phenomenal, but what's like your R factor on your insulation? Is it similar to like manufactured, or is it better, or?
So we're slightly better than manufactured and slightly less than a stick build, depending on the configuration. We can get these with thicker walls, any number of things, but the R factor usually runs in the 20s. for the baseline technologies that we have. And then depending on how we structure it or how we configure it and build it, that goes up. Some of the things that get the manufactured housing versus ours, the containment of the air inside the facilities or inside that house becomes the critical factor to improve the R factor. A leaky house has a tendency to have the cold air come in, that everything's got to work harder to get through. Whereas if we build it in this fashion and it is on concrete, then we've built a very tight house that has a very effective R factor from that standpoint, from the roof, ground, and walls.
And your average assembly time from start to finish on these, is it, considering favorable weather? I mean, I understand all that stuff, but just curious, what does it normally take to assemble there?
Yeah, the normal disclaimer answer, and I thank you for that. But so normally we can have the walls in the interior dried in within about 10 days, 2 weeks, and then finish out if the slab set, and then finish out takes somewhere between 6 to 8 weeks at max. So generally speaking, if we do one, it takes longer. If you do 4 or 5 or 10 of these in a row, what happens is your trades work through this very rapidly. The walls go up, the roof goes up, similar, in the design that you would think of it as stick build, except that there's just a few changes for the roof. But the walls can actually, the exterior walls can be stood up in a day, and then the inner structure, whether we do that with a traditional build in sheetrock or whether we do it with an insulated product on the inside, is all dependent on basically the cost factors.
Okay, so possibly 90 days.
Typically under 90 days. We find that early on it takes a little bit to get through the process because this is not a traditional stick build house from this standpoint. So it takes a little bit longer, but once it goes through that first process, it moves pretty rapidly. From that standpoint, it's matching up, making sure the trays have the concrete set right for that slab is probably the most critical for us.
Gotcha. Okay, and I guess just my last question would just be, what is your cost per square foot on these? I mean, how do you package them, or how do you price that? Is it per square foot, or is it per unit, or is it like, I'm assuming bulk pricing, or is that kind of all out there? Or?
It technically it's all out there. We're as competitive all in for what you should be paying or what you have been paying for what you're doing today, without getting into a custom built house. In some areas we can be more cost effective based on how we build them, how we stage them, and those kind of things, and the add-ons than what you traditionally see. Those add-ons go away from that standpoint. But it can go anywhere from a square foot, if that's the way you want to see it, or a linear foot because it's a structure house, or here's the price for this house. So once we get down to what that looks like, then what we see, it comes in pretty competitive to anything or under what you're already doing.
It's Scott. I had one question. I'm assuming slabs are the preferable method with our uneven ground and fractured granite everywhere. How would we be able to do some on pier and beam, or is that the way you need to do them?
No, pier and beam is no. We can, when we get to that, we'll put in a pier and then beam it out and build it off of pier and beam.
Is that cost comparable as doing the slab, or slightly less?
No, it's going to be slightly less than the slab in your area because your pier and beam is. Now, I say that if we're on the side of a mountain, that changes. But typically speaking, if it's if it's not too radical on what we have to do to get the pier and beam set up, then the beam set up, then yeah, we find that where that cost is is not as much between the concrete and pier and beam. It's the trades to get the product delivered on the side of the mountain and stood up with cranes and things like that change that cost, not necessarily the underpinning structure of how we set it.
Cool, thank you.
How about zoning? I know with manufactured homes, there's certain areas we can place those in the village, but with something like this, is this considered just a regular home or is there special zoning? Did you know?
Yes, this would be.
No, it's just I'm sorry, go ahead.
Regular home.
This would be fine in all of our residential districts.
Oh, okay. Good. Better.
We can make it look like a regular house. That's
Yeah, that look nice.
So I guess one of the upsides potentially is like, you know, for a remodel, my understanding is you have to bring it to current code, and there's a different set of codes for manufactured versus site built. Is that like electrical or plumbing, or are they both basically the same? Like, is there any downfall over? Because I know like if you work on a manufacturer, there's like a certain kind of water heater, I think, that has to go in there, and some of the requirements.
This kind of building, as far as I know, is considered site-built, basically. It's modular, so it's different.
Okay.
Right?
To me, the way I'm viewing this product is like a site-built home. A remodel, yes, whenever they demo, you know, so much and start exposing the plumbing and electrical, then they do need to bring it up to code. But as far as permitting for this product, I think that we would be able to handle it. It's not like a prefabricated home that's built off-site and delivered here that New Mexico CID would permit through their manufacturing housing division. So I think we would be able to permit these types of products.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yeah, plumbing, all of that's to local code and done in the local code area. We're not putting plumbing in those walls until we build it.
Well, I mean, from just a personal perspective, these are, you know, pretty cool little units and proposals. I mean, I would be shocked if they're as cost effective as a manufacturer in the sense of, you know, buying the package up front, but I think the end result's a lot nicer. But it sounds like you guys have been pretty effective in driving down your costs to make it more appealing, and I'm sure you compete with those places all the time.
Absolutely. And where we come out is between the transportation cost, the setup cost, the site work, and, you know, the decking and all the things and the underpinning. And we think we have a better product because we can design it on site for what needs to be, you know, presented for that area, which is what we like about it. And we think it's a more efficient house. I think we're as competitive when all the dust settles and you look at a concrete slab or a pier and beam house versus you know, a modular home that's brought in that doesn't have the durability to last as long when you talk about total cost of ownership. Because we get into total cost of ownership on things, you know, that's a big value change when we add up the life of the product.
Do you have any of these homes in New Mexico that are already put up?
We don't have in New Mexico. We've got a couple that we're working with, and we're starting some stuff with the Navajo Nation up in northwestern New Mexico or western Arizona. We're working with them on theirs is more of affordable and workforce housing, but a little bit. It's the same concept, same product, but we haven't broken ground up there yet. We do have them in Texas.
Okay. So
I know y'all think that's a foreign country just to the east of you, but we really don't think that way. So.
there you go.
Where in Texas we're right next door to them. Do you have any El Paso by any chance?
No, I'm the closest one is but basically down around College Station.
Oh, Austin.
So, Sam, are we to make like a recommendation from the committee standpoint to like the council, or is this kind of for like our FYI on the committee involvement, or?
I'm going to let Mayor Crawford speak to this.
Okay. With the big dog, I'm going to step down here.
Really, what we were wanting to do is just make you guys aware of all, because we're looking at everything that we can get into. There's some other products that we're looking at, manufactured, boxable, if you go to that website, but they're, I just found it from John, they're over a year out. But we're just looking at things that can be done, especially for our neighbor, you know, with the place that we live, it being very fire retardant. The look that we're looking for, and then of course 603 Meacham, we don't have that on the agenda, but we have a site bill or a site plan that's looking, but as you can see, these can also be made into duplexes, and so this gives us some other avenues of being able to have a tighter residency there, but still have a nice enough home. And then we've been assured by Scott, he came and did a small presentation about, you know, the thickness of the walls and decibel levels between the two homes, because you'd have that double thickness there, so you wouldn't have that. So what we're looking at is we want you to be aware of it. So we're breaking down, because we're around 140 to 180 square feet manufactured, depending on what type of exterior you want to put on. If you want to put a porch, you know, we're not looking at putting garages and all that kind of stuff, but these are things that are new, that are possible. And then from what I've read, there's about a 10% waste factor when you're manufacturing these. Stick builts are up around 20-25%. And so these are things that we're looking to help combat NIMBY and the other things that we hear about all the time. So we're just wanting to make you aware of it, so that if we can come to some sort of an arrangement, the next presentation you see, where hopefully there's discussion and action, recommendation to the council, so that we can, you know, because we want you guys' blessing on these things. But if you haven't been over to 603 Meacham, the Rock House, we've started putting the road in over there. We have the sewer in the main place, but we're looking at what's it going to take to build out those areas. We do want to get a comfortable, I don't want to say maximal, amount of homes. Has anybody been over to Meacham Meadows yet and drove down through?
Down through.
Okay, you have? So it looked really tight. Now it's looking a little better.
Yeah.
Because that was pretty tight over there. And so, but that was to meet the recommendations we had from planning and zoning, whatever. Ideally, and this will be on recommendations when we come through from you guys, well, what do we want that property to look like? Do you want it to look like a little neighborhood? Or do we want to go in with duplex, duplex, duplex? You know, those kind of things of something like this.
Yeah.
And talk about more density. So these are things we're wanting to make you aware that it seems like it's been pretty stagnant. We've been working on a lot of things, reviewing to try to find out what is possible. And what we've seen with Scott, you know, they would have to bring in a crew to put these together, because we don't have people that are skilled in this just yet. But if they get the contract with the Navajo Nation, you know, there's a possibility they could put in a lot of them there. And so we think that this could move fairly quickly compared to some other options that we have. I mean, the other one is, of course, the mobile homes are pre-manufactured.
Yeah.
So that's all it is. We want to make you guys aware, and that if you run across something, I know I had a guy on the airport advisory board that had seen some other stuff that sent us some links. So we're investigating into everything that we possibly can on what our options are. And Leonard Newbill that you met earlier has been very instrumental in moving these things along and keeping the guys moving over there at Meacham Meadows. And so we've got him looking into all of these aspects too. So, and then we'll have other things that we're working to. Hopefully next meeting, we'll have a good announcement for you guys that are behind the scenes things that we're working. We're excited about. We have meetings with EDA, the Economic Development Agency, that we've done a couple of presentations, giving them some material, and they're coming in on the 31st. I think I'm pointing at Ron, to hopefully that it's additional monies that we can come into the community that have been hard hit by catastrophes like our fire. And the lady that was here made it very clear that they want to spend some money in Lincoln County, and we made it very clear we want them to. And so
want that money.
We have some, I'm not going to say shovel ready, but we have near shovel ready. They're swag. They're not really PER'd, engineered just yet, but we can move forward and then talk about job creation and whatnot. And that's why I was telling Steve back here, that eventually, if we get to that next step, I've already got Ryan Trosper, Todd Oberhue will be there, people that will say, you know, it's not about job creation in Lincoln County, it's about filling the jobs we already have.
Feeling a need, yeah.
And so bring that in, we're working on a possible, with housing for students, for, you know, Destination College, and tying into all the things that are going on over at the university, that could happen, you know, fairly quick. And when I say fairly quick, in this time, it's a year and a half, you know, that's fairly quick. But we do have momentum finally moving once we get this first one done.
Absolutely.
Then that'll open up the eyes to some other folks that can move in. And we are meeting and have met with several business folks that want to come in and are looking to see what it can happen to build housing. I know Sam's dealing with some. She gets a ton of lip from everybody that lives around there, and the developer gets a ton of lip for wanting to do it. And so these are things that we have to keep pushing in. And then when we show people how we manage this Meacham Meadows, and then we have one good success, and then we get the aesthetics on the outside fixed up and a nice little sign that says Meacham Meadows, and they find out we didn't move in a bunch of MS-13 drug dealers.
Yeah, I couldn't
You
agree
know, that
more.
these are people that are working here, then it's gonna help us move into the other ones. So we just want you guys to be on the same page where we're working on, because we do call through a lot of stuff that sounds great, smells great, but we can't even get it, it's so far out.
Yeah. I
So
couldn't agree
anyway,
more.
that's all it is, but I appreciate your time today.
Well, thank you, Mayor, yeah. I think that's exciting stuff, and I think we're definitely all, I can comfortably say, all on board with moving forward with feasible projects for the community, absolutely. And so, any more discussions or questions for Scott, while he's on with us by the committee?
Just, I guess, the difference between manufactured, I think most of them now are just all electric. Is that what y'all found too? So these here, you can go gas, right, and whatever you want? Yeah, because these days it's all electric for
On the
manufacturing.
manufacturer?
Yeah.
Oh, are they really? None of them have any gas?
No, the ones over here went all electric for affordability.
You're not allowed to have gas or wood burning fire stoves. We can accommodate that in this model.
Okay.
Wow.
Can you put a fireplace in one of these homes as well? A wood-burning fireplace?
Yes. Yep. Sure can.
So are those panels, are they only the exterior walls or are they interior as well?
So the outside walls themselves, interior and exterior, can come with the resistance on them. We can build the inside with resistance, fire resistant sheets, or we can just do the outside. So it can be accommodated in any one of the three versions.
So it's tougher to hang stuff on the walls. That's probably good.
You have to use.
We don't want a lot of stuff on the walls. Make them work for it. Well, thank you, Scott. That's, appreciate the clarity. It sounds like, I mean, obviously, you know, a very exciting project. You know, love to see those in action, and appreciate your time for sure. So, any more questions from the committee? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And it looks like, I wasn't sure if we wanted to touch base on bullet point D, on the possible action on the workforce housing spring fair before we adjourn.
Yes, so we have 3 gift cards left over from the fall workforce housing spring or mini-series that we held. And I think it'd be a great opportunity if we held another one to provide resources to the community, either for renters or homeowners, whatever topic you all would like to see, or if you'd just like a collection of booths like we did in 2019, I believe, we can do that. Whatever direction you all would like to move in. We have those gift cards available to offer as incentives. I do anticipate an open or a ribbon cutting ceremony at 1114 Meacham. I don't know if we could do it in conjunction. But whatever the board chooses and provides direction, we'd be happy to get going on that.
I'm all for it.
Who's in charge of this?
Samantha and Dina.
Dina.
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, I think I would say from my perspective, from someone that participated in it, putting around something that has more activity in the community, I think that was a really rough time because it wasn't just a lot going on. Town wasn't really busy. And then it was in the evening hours and somebody with 3 children in school, high school, middle school, and elementary. Man, I don't want to go to a housing fair at 6:30 at night. I wouldn't even be seen there. And so I think if we look at that, I think that we kind of talk about what activities are in the community that might have some commotion around it, and maybe in conjunction with something like that, a ribbon cutting and flipping some burgers or having some hot dogs. I don't know what our budget is. If it's $100, we can get really cheap hot dogs. It's, $200, we can get some nice hot dogs. And so we'll have to work on the mayor and the council a little on that deal, but I think maybe we can incentivize. Yeah, but I think that if we make it a fun event, a family event, something like that, and we might be able to get more draw because of the few people that did attend. Actually, one of them did work with us. They were enthused. They were being listened to, and they did enjoy, being there. And I just feel like if more people had that opportunity, they would have gone. So I very much think that would be.
Maybe at the university,
Yeah, maybe at the university, or I don't know what weekend. What are we targeting? What dates? Like, isn't it spring right now?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Allegedly.
So which weekend you're looking at?
Yeah, well, I was thinking, are we talking more like summer, like May? Or are we talking more like April? Or are we?
We would need a little bit of time to plan, so probably
I was
May.
thinking.
If you did want to do it in conjunction with the ribbon cutting,
That'd be
maybe we
the
could have a
best.
booth and have fair housing information,
Sure.
all of that, and just provide resources there.
But that's an
in a booth.
outside event. So weather permitting, so that's why I was curious, like, when are we targeting that? 30 days?
We haven't discussed that internally. I just came up with that
15
idea
days?
as I was sitting here, that it might be a good idea.
Are we doing it in 10 days?
We could do something in conjunction with another event and set up a booth in that manner too, to provide information.
The last couple fairs, what we've tried to do is experiment and just see what works best for the community. And
Sure.
you're right, some of those nighttime things didn't work that great. It's hard to schedule around other events
Oh,
going
yeah.
on. There's just a lot of stuff involved with it.
What if we did something during the Ride Ruidoso there at the park, Wingfield Park?
Okay, all right, I like
I
that.
mean, seems to be, people would be there. A lot of them will be from out of town,
That's the
but,
thing, we need to do
but
it
if we could get,
more of an in-town kind of event instead of people that are just here for the weekend. So we
I
can
just
talk-
don't know how many people participated before, and unless you're going to do something
Yeah.
fun,
Our first one was a success, I would say. We got about 20, 25 people the very first time, but
yeah.
it was it was weekend stuff. It was how we did it then. It was daytime.
Well, there would be a huge draw, something like that. I mean, isn't it like the beer festival and everybody?
And I know Dina wants to speak, but she's saying, what about at the egg hunt when we do that coming up?
Yeah.
That would be
Egg hunt?
great,
Yeah.
yeah.
That might be a good idea. We'll all be here still, I think.
I think it is easier to talk to people about their credit after they've had a few beers. Lighten it up a little. But yeah, no, I think I'm on board with anything around an actual event that would have more draw rather than, 5, 10, I mean, even 20. I mean, it's helpful, but if we could just concentrate efforts and really maximize within our reach, then one of those events
Yeah.
might provide a great platform.
Easter's
People
less than,
really enjoy
3
it.
weeks away?
We could set up a booth and hand out information and incentivize it by doing a drawing for the 3 gift cards. That would be fun.
I'll work it.
Because I think that's more of a primary residence.
Yeah.
Not the second one, people wouldn't go to that, but usually people with little kids and stuff that live in the community, so that might be a better, event. I would miss the wine tent, but that's fine. Do some eggs too. Okay.
I think Dina still wants to speak.
Oh. Dina, are you still with us?
I am still there, yes. So we've been talking about this at the committee level and in a couple of committees, and we are on the same track that you guys are with doing it in conjunction with another local event. We had talked around the idea of, any of the major events that go on at Wingfield Park, but you brought up a good point that is not something that a local typically attends. So I do like the idea of the Easter egg hunt and setting up a booth and just providing information. It can be, we can have our mortgage providers there. We can have realtors there if they want to speak of it, and any other third party that wants to be involved.
Yeah. I think it's a great idea, and so,
I'll commit to working it. If we can make that decision this quickly, I'm for it.
Yeah.
So you'll be there with me, huh?
oh, you know it, bright and shiny. So do we need a recommendation or any sort of action item, or just like,
Yes,
We
if you all
agree.
could make a motion to have a booth to represent workforce housing
Cool.
at the Easter egg hunt.
okay, so I'll go ahead and make the motion for the Workforce Housing Advisory Board to have a booth set up at the annual Easter egg gathering hunt of Ruidoso.
And we will distribute the three $50 gift cards at that time.
What is our time gonna be? 9 to noon or?
I don't think it lasts that long. I think it's over by
quick.
10 o'clock.
Okay.
It starts early.
Don't they do the Easter egg at 10 and then the hunt's over at 10:02?
Fun run as well.
Yeah, the fun run's 8? That's,
Is it at 8?
So
Is
maybe
that negotiable?
Just 9 to 11, that's good enough? 9 to
Yeah, I
10?
think
Nobody likes 8:39 run?
the Easter egg hunt is at 6:30
the fun run.
a.m.
The fun run is
The
at
fun
16.
run
Okay.
is at 6:30.
I'll be sure to send Pam to that.
Just get with me on setting up the booth and whatever else, I'll help out. And I'll
So
get
it literally starts at 6:30 and it's
there, too.
over at 10?
It's
Yeah.
And there's not like anything after, like a lunch or barbecue or anything like that?
No.
Apparently, it's been a while. I don't like 6:30 for a reason.
That's for the run. 8:30 is okay.
It's, well attended, and so we
Okay.
have worked internally on how to get people there for parking, because they park all the way down on Meacham, walk all the way down to that area. And then they have little kids areas to set up, and then when they say get on your mark, they're gone. And, I mean, it's that busy, but if you had a nice booth, we could still set up a deal with hamburgers and hot dogs. You know, I got grills, and we can bring them out there, and then with you guys' help, and we get some counselors like to do hot dogs and stuff, and we've talked to our friends over at Albertsons and get some sponsors, and
Yeah,
and then hamburger, whatever you want, and then just have enough people there to put them together quick.
yeah.
And have plenty of information to hand out and get some exposure. I mean, I think it's a great idea.
Yep,
Okay.
let's do it.
So I think we have a motion on the table. Do we approve that?
I second it.
Okay, so first, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Seeing no opposition, motion carries.
What's the date again, Sam?
I believe it's the 8th.
Saturday, right?
April 8th.
Yep. We could go further with it and do it at our cleanup too. I mean, we could have a booth there. If not this time, maybe the one in the fall, we'll start doing some of these events and have a booth there. That's not a bad idea at all. So
Yeah, I think the more outreach, the better. That's a great idea.
get a banner at some point, something. That'd be cool.
Is that the Saturday? So Easter's is on the 9th, right? Okay. Perfect. Okay. All right. Do we have any further discussion, any topic items to discuss? And if not, I'll be putting up a motion for adjournment. We have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you very much for coming, everybody.
Thank you, guys. So are you gonna come really, or are you gonna have Pam do it? He's turning off his thing.